Today I will tell you a legend that has traveled across plains and mountains, a legend sung by storytellers for hundreds of years, a legend written in one of the oldest epic books of the Turkic world, the story of Basat and the Cyclops. Sit back, take a deep breath, let the old voice of this epic guide you. Long ago, when the Oghuz tribes roamed the endless steppe, life moved with the rhythm of nature. The sun rose over green grasslands, horses thundered across the plains, children laughed in the wind, and every night families gathered around warm fires to eat, talk, and listen to stories. The Oghuz people were strong, proud, and united. They lived by honor, they defended one another, they respected their elders and praised their heroes, but peace never lasts forever. A shadow was coming, a shadow none of them could escape. It started quietly. A missing sheep, a broken fence, a strange roaring sound echoing at night. Then it grew worse. Horses returned bleeding. Shepherds came running back pale as snow. Children woke up crying, saying they had seen a giant figure watching the camp from the hills. The elders gathered, the warriors took oaths, but they had no clear enemy to strike, until a young scout came running back to the camp, trembling, his voice shaking. I saw it, a creature as tall as a tree, with a single eye burning in the middle of its forehead. And then the name spread like lightning. Tepegos, the Cyclops. At first, Tepegos attacked from afar. He stole cattle, he destroyed fences, he trampled the fields. But then he stepped into the camp itself. His footsteps shook the ground. His voice boomed like thunder. "You will bring me food," he declared. "You will bring me meat, horses, sheep, and if you refuse, I will take your warriors and feast on them instead." The Oghuz chiefs tried to fight him, but no matter how many arrows they fired, no matter how many spears they threw, Tepegos felt nothing. His skin was like iron. His strength was like a mountain. Day after day, he demanded more: livestock, supplies, even lives. The Oghuz people were on the edge of despair. Now, some stories say that Tepegos was not born a monster, that long ago he was a foundling, a strange child raised by the Oghuz, with skin harder than bone and a temper that burned like fire. But after being mistreated and mocked, he left the tribe and grew into the monster he became. Whether this is true or myth, the elders debated endlessly. Some believed they had created their own doom. Others believed this was simply fate. But Basat saw things differently. Basat was not the oldest warrior, not the strongest, not the tallest. But he was brave, quick, sharp-minded, and determined. He had grown up in the same lands, hunted the same forests, listened to the same stories of honor and courage. When he saw the terror in the eyes of the children, when he saw mothers crying at night, when he saw warriors unable to protect their people, he stepped forward. "I will face Tepegos," he said. The elders gasped. Some shook their heads. Others pleaded with him not to go. But Basat continued, "No creature is invincible. Everything has a weakness. Let me find his." At dawn, Basat prepared himself. He took his sword, his bow, a pack of food, water, and a torch. The morning wind was cold. The sky was pale blue. But Basat walked with determination. He followed the path of destruction Tepegos had left behind. Giant footprints, broken trees, pieces of armor crushed like paper. The deeper Basat went into the hills, the darker the world became. Birds stopped singing. The air grew heavier. Finally, he found it, the cave, a massive opening between jagged rocks, as dark as night, as silent as death. Basat stood there quietly, listening to the echo of a deep, sleeping breath coming from within. He whispered, "This is it," and stepped inside. The cave walls were damp and cold. The ground was scattered with bones, and in the distance, glowing like a dying coal, was the Cyclops' single giant eye. Tepegos slept, leaning against a boulder. His chest rose and fell with slow, heavy breaths. Basat hid behind a stone and watched. He studied the creature. He studied his movements. He studied his strength. He noticed something important. Even a monster that strong must rest, must sleep, must lower its guard. Basat waited until the fire burned low, until the Cyclops' breathing grew calm, until silence filled every corner. Then he moved. Quiet as a shadow, Basat found a long spear. One Tepegos had stolen from the Oguts' warriors. It was heavy, but Basat lifted it anyway. He whispered, "For my people, for the Oguts." He climbed the rocks beside the Cyclops. He raised the spear. He aimed for the eye, and with all his strength, he drove the spear forward. A terrible roar exploded through the cave. Tepegos woke in agony. Blood and fire burst from his eye. The ground shook. Rocks fell from the ceiling. Basat stumbled back, trying to escape the chaos. But the Cyclops was not dead. Far from it. Blinded, furious, Tepegos rampaged through the cave. "Who dares?" he roared. "Come out! Face me! I will tear you apart!" He swung his massive arms. He smashed stone pillars. He crushed the ground with every step. Basat dodged, rolled, hid behind boulders. He knew something. A blind enemy is still deadly, but also vulnerable. Tepegos' strength was still overwhelming, but now his movements were wild and imprecise. Basat whispered to himself, "I can finish this." Basat drew his sword and stepped forward. Tepegos heard the slightest sound and attacked, hurling his enormous weight toward it. Basat dodged. He moved like wind around the giant. He struck at the legs, the arms, the chest, looking for any weak spot. Bit by bit, the monster slowed. His breathing grew rough. He staggered. Basat saw his chance. He jumped onto Tepegos' back. The Cyclops roared and thrashed, but Basat held on. He plunged his blade into the monster's neck again and again. At last, the giant fell. The earth trembled as Tepegos collapsed, and the terror of the Ogus ended. Basat walked back to the camp at sunrise. His clothes were torn. His hands were scraped. His sword was stained, but he carried himself with calm pride. When the Ogu's people saw him, they ran toward him. Mothers cried with relief. Children cheered. Warriors bowed their heads. He had done what none of them could do. He had ended a nightmare. That night, the tribe lit a great fire. The sky glowed red and gold. Ozan storytellers played their lutes and sang songs of Basat's bravery. Elders told the children, "Remember this day. Remember Basat. Remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it." The story passed from tongue to tongue, from one camp to the next, from fathers to sons, from mothers to daughters. Centuries later, it was written into the Book of Didi Korkut, preserving it forever. And today, you have heard it again. A real epic, a real hero, a real fragment of ancient Turkic memory. The legend of Basat and the Cyclops lives on, as long as someone is willing to tell it.